what else do you think contributed to the referendum failing?
Well, I do think that exit poll was spot on, and that a big reason why it failed was that people didn't feel informed. But I think I want to delve into that a little bit more deeply. So the issues involved are fairly complex, and it's easier to vote for the status quo than to vote for change. And to explain the issues involved in electoral reform and in these particular systems that were chosen on the ballot is a much more complex thing than the no side messaging. And there's a famous quote by Joseph Goebbels who said, if you tell a big lie and you repeat it often enough, people will believe it. And unfortunately, that really happened here. The yes side was a bit all over the map. There was, the education wasn't deep enough. The education covered the mechanics of the systems, which confused people a lot. Some people got it, but there was no or inadequate education on what mattered. The basics of what proportional representation is, the reason why we're looking at changing at all, and what benefits it would bring to society. People have to have a reason to make such a big change, and that reason was not explained to people. And the educational materials coming out of Elections BC, they were adequate for what they were, but they were details of the systems. They weren't the big picture, and they didn't give people motivation. On the other side, and then all the yes side was sort of fragmented into many groups. There's the NDP, there was the Greens, there was independent groups, there was Vote PRBC, the official proponent, all kind of spreading this happy, happy messaging, but it wasn't particularly focused. On the no side, we had the Liberals very strongly campaigning with a very focused campaign with very narrow messaging. And they spread it effectively through media, and people heard it and they listened to it, and it was little sound bites that they could understand. And even though in many instances what they were saying was completely untrue, people believed it. Things like you won't have local representation, your MLA is going to be in Vancouver, goose-stepping Nazis on their TV ads. People may not have been believed it, but they get the gist of the fear factor of the potential of a small party to hold the balance of power. And that really, really frightened people. So as I spoke to people, educated people, knowledgeable people, I would get these results like, oh, well, if we have PR, then it's just, you don't get to vote for your candidate. You can just vote for a party list. So the no side was very effective in getting their message across about party list, party list, party list, whereas in reality, none of the systems, it wasn't clear enough whether they were going to have party lists or not, because there wasn't sufficient detail presented on the systems to determine exactly how they worked. So the confusion was as much on what wasn't said as what was said to people.
Right.